Good to go?
Yeah, or golden.
All right, so in this episode, we're gonna go over the kind of like the step-by-step of making legitimate carbon fiber fender vents for the 996 slant nose wide body that we did. As it sits right now, you'll kind of notice it has these little filler panels that we made just so that we could make it to the driven show. We had a pretty hard deadline that we had to meet. So we did all the things, made sure that there was no jankiness going on, and now it's time to keep on going with it. We have a little bit of time in the shop, so let's go make some carbon vents. I actually did a little render. I'll show you the rendering so all my rambling makes sense. This is, let me just find this here. I just started using Sketchbook on my iPad for drawing up all the various projects that we got going on here. The visual communication of it is super cool. So this is what we're gonna make.
That looks amazing. You can zoom out on the car so we can see the whole thing compared to, well, look at that.
So with this, I just took a photograph with my iPad of the car, so there's no misinterpretation of shapes or
you can scale it,
whatever it is, and then I just started drawing on it.
That is so
cool.
This
is what we're creating right here in foam.
Yeah.
This foam piece that we're looking on the table here, this is the negative of what that actually is. So I had this little moment, I was like, I think I can create a really cool shape. Okay, before we carry on, I wanted to say that this design, I saw a really dope video recently. It was the new Cayman GT4 RS.
Oh, I love that
And
car.
it had that fender shape, that fender vent shape, and I was like, wow.
Oh, it has something similar?
Yeah, something very, very similar to this.
Okay.
A lot smaller in size, but this shape was directly sniped from that. And that's how it goes with a lot of things.
I mean,
you take inspiration from everything, right? So anyways, I was like, that's sick. We need to do that. I quickly grabbed my iPad, sketched it up, sent it to Tim, and he's like, that's sick. Let's do it.
That's so awesome.
And so yesterday, I took this this mold shape that we created in fiberglass was a piece that we already had that existed directly from the top of the fender on the slant nose. So this is the front side. And I was like, I can carve in foam in the negative what this is gonna be, and then when it's all said and done, so when I get this all blocked out with some body filler, put a nice sealer on it, make sure it's all smooth and glossy, I can take carbon directly off of this shape that I've created and make these fender vents for the slant nose that are gonna be 100% guaranteed fit, because this shape directly came off of the fender itself.
That's so cool. So you're making this in full carbon?
Yes, of course.
It's also interesting that you say this because we have already made carbon vents technically.
Yes.
For the slant nose already.
That's right. I mean, because like a lot of the times, like when you get into a project, you'll find that regardless of how super cool that project idea was, or whatever, it doesn't really matter, or how much time or money you put into it. Like a lot of the times, it just simply isn't the right thing for that project in that moment. The way we were going about that one, in my mind, I couldn't quite figure out exactly how we were going to seamlessly connect what we were creating into that car. So that's why, like, the gears were turning all the time. It was like, how can I do this so that it's a really, really simple thing? And this idea then was born from that.
That's awesome.
We had to take what we were creating and just put it aside. Like, it's a cool idea, and we'll probably use that on something else in the future, a different project. So yeah.
But for now,
Shift gears. We're doing this.
yeah.
This is a much simpler way of going about.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, if do you want me to tell everybody kind of
Yeah.
how we got
here? Because this just looks like.
Want me to show you a little bit of how I actually did this?
Yeah.
Because it's actually not that complicated to do something like this. To start out, you need a nice shapeable foam. This pink foam that this is created from, I got this from Home Depot. Any one of those major, like, you know, home construction kind of supply
what type
places.
of material is this?
This is like an insulation that you put in the walls when you're doing home construction.
Wow.
So this one just happens to be an inch thick. It's a nice shapeable foam. It's got a good density to it. And you probably can't pick it up on camera, but when you sand it with like 180 grit, it's nice and smooth. It's really easy to shape.
Oh, that feels nice. It almost feels like Alcantara, but with chunkiness.
Yeah, so it's good and dense. You can get all the shapes that you could possibly hope for just by using this stuff. So any of you guys watching, you want to, you know, create something, you could, let's say you could take this stuff and I just glued it onto the surface of our mold here. You could probably just glue this onto the side of your car and make wide body fenders.
I didn't actually think of that.
You know
that
what?
is
You could do and like with some simple tools, you can shape it. So,
because you use it in layers too. So it's like,
yeah, you could build up thickness in layers if you just, you know,
Glue both
1 inch is
together.
all I needed. Put two together, you got 2, you got 3, you got as many layers as you need to get the thickness that you need. And it's nice and dense, right? You cut through it, you shape it. Doesn't matter how many layers you got, as long as you bonded them all together well, then you have exactly what you need. This is an exceptionally good product for this purpose. So, there you go.
awesome.
Now, I was saying, like, it's really easy to shape. You could start by, like, you know, I used a jigsaw to cut my rough shape, and I just took it over to my belt sander. Not everybody has a belt sander, I understand that, but like, I used a DA. You just smooth that surface. So, just to give a breakdown on how I made this shape, I first of all had to think about how am I going to create nice sharp lines, nice inside square corners, and do all that. Well, I just made each one of these little areas is an individual block that I hand shaped. You know?
Yeah, you can kind of see the seams there.
There's little seams there, but that gave me the ability to create that nice square inside corner right here. So it's it holds its shape really well. It does really well for that.
And so this again is the negative. And
so this is
you're
the negative.
So what comes next after this?
After we get this shaped, and I'm like, you know, I'm happy with everything. So for the DIY budget minded, and this actually makes a lot of sense. You could take, you know, pick yourself up some drywall mud, you know, drywall sanding mud from the same supply store. And the reason why you want to use that over something like auto body filler, okay, so number one, it's significantly cheaper. 2, it's way easier to sand it and shape it. Those are 2 primary reasons. It's air dry. You don't have to worry about any of that. So use that product. Use drywall mud on this to do all of your body filler type work. Smooth it all out, refine that shape using drywall mud. The tip for that is don't put it on too thick, because if you put it on too thick, it'll crack. Right? Thin layers, it'll air dry real quick for you, especially in the summer heat. It'll dry pretty quick. Anyways, sands well, it's cheap, it's readily available, and you put that on. Last stage before it's ready for any kind of composite work though is to put a sealer on the surface. So you could use like a lacquer clear or something like that. some sort of clear that you can do like a wet sand and polish on at the end when it's cured, just to seal the whole surface. Because drywall mud, auto body filler, even anything like that requires a sealer, so it's not.
Yeah, it's porous.
It's a porous, like, you know, it's
there's holes,
micro
little
porous.
holes in
you don't want it to absorb your resins, right? So we'll do a sealer on it. We'll use like a proper auto body sealer on it because it's here. I don't have lacquer. Yeah. Lacquer clear. But so we'll just do that on here, and then that'll give me something to sand and buff. Because one thing of note, like when we're doing it like this in a negative, when we do the composite, when we actually pull the part from this mold, the whole surface of this is going to be the top surface of the actual part that we're doing.
That is so cool.
The smoother and glossier that we make this mold, the nicer the carbon finish is going to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter if you're going to paint it, but because you're always trying to get better at doing what you're doing, like you might as well try to make it as the best that you possibly can. Why not? It's not a very big part. Yeah. So, you know.
And then you're also going to cut like the negative, or when you're done with making the part. Yeah. We're gonna cut the hole. So this is where the air is going to pass through.
That's right. These flat areas right here will be cut right out. So those will be removed, and the air will exit from inside the fender area out. And if you can think about it like this, like right now we're looking at it from inside the fender well. Yeah. The air will come out of the fender well, out through the louvers, and out. So that's how that works.
That is so cool.
So yeah, that's just makes so much more sense. So that's why we changed gears and decided to do it like this. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Porsche, for coming out with super dope cars.
Perfect timing
to keep
too.
Me inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just looking at the way, just how, I don't know, there's just something about it that just looks very satisfying.
There we go.
So you applied like 2 more layers-ish, and then...
Yeah, I think the way it's building up right now, I doubt I'll have to add any more to any of these main areas. Yeah. It's all just going to be right in these corner refinements. So 2 more layers probably in those areas, and these will be ready for sealer. The honest truth about using drywall compound in this application is that it does not have doesn't have very good ability to hold structure. So it works fantastic for like leveling and doing that, but like these little inside corners where I need some actual structure, it's failing a little bit in that. So I would say that this is probably, you know, it's only a partial win using this stuff. Probably because of the shape of this and the size, auto body filler would probably have been a better option.
So do you think you might still do that then over this?
Too late now. Oh. Too late now. I would have to, I think it's too late now. I feel like I've already built up some of that area with the drywall mud. So I kind of feel like I need to just follow through with it. Yeah. Just be very, very gentle with it. But if I was to do this over again, I would use auto body filler with this.
Oh, okay.
Just because the shape is too intricate.
The type of part that it is,
I mean, If it was something outside round, no sharp corners, anything like that, and you're just leveling, drywall compound all day, every day. Works amazing. So we have that in stock now here, so whenever we need it for that use, perfect. Yeah. That's okay. Live and learn. First time out, this is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I found the limitation for what that is.
Okay.
And we're just gonna keep following through to the end. We're gonna get through this. Fortunately, these are like a one-off.
Yeah.
So I'm essentially just doing prototyping. It's gonna be perfect for this.
Awesome.
We're almost there. Like it almost seems effortless.
Yeah, like once you almost like as you touch it, it just melts away.
Yeah, just like you look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice and crispy, right?
So smooth.
So now the challenge is to sand that inside contour.
Yeah. Good luck.
We'll get it. But yeah, it sands so easy that it's almost too easy to take too much away. So that's actually the challenge that I'm discovering using this drywall compound.
The next day,
basically, I've just been refining them. I did one over on it yesterday and touched up some body work on it to make it a little nicer and smoother, some pinhole repair, stuff like that. Got some primer on it yesterday before we left. But basically, I'll be going over it one more time, guide coating it, making sure they're as perfect as possible, and get it into a final prime later today. And then just some little touch-up stuff, things like this that are hard to see prior to anything. So they're looking pretty good. I think one more good block sanding and they'll be pretty nice.
So, what is going on today? It seems you made some progress. There's some carbon pieces laying over there.
Yes, sir. Today's the day. We're gonna do carbon. We're gonna make the carbon vents for the Slantnose 996.
Awesome.
So I just started doing a little bit of layup. Well, we'll back it up just a touch. Got the molds finally prepped and ready to go. So we're gonna do a wet layup with a vacuum bag to make sure that it's sucked down nice and tight. Get that nice finish that we're going for. So I'm gonna take this whole mold and I'm just gonna encase it in its own bag material. So I prepped all the surfaces on it, got it all set up. It's nice and there's no sharp edges, everything's good. And I'm starting kind of the painstaking process of just prepping all my carbon pieces for this. And it kind of goes a little bit deeper than just tossing carbon on there, you know, some resin. We're trying to do this very precisely, and I have this idea that I want the one side of the car to have like a weave orientation one way, and the other side of the car it being opposing. So both of the weave patterns would be going like that. So what that kind of means, if anybody doesn't really know, like when you look at this piece of 2x2 twill, you can kind of see that there's a direction that kind of shows up almost right away. So what I want is every piece of carbon on this one mold here for the one side of the car, all the weave orientation to be going the exact same direction. So what I'm doing right now is cutting my top layer, my visual layer of carbon very, very precisely. So that means, you know, putting like a veil cloth on the back side of my carbon so I can cut it very, very cleanly in the right, you know, I'm following a straight line.
Yeah.
So all of these pieces will go right into there really tight. They'll fit. And I want all of these cut lines right here to be
Are they going to
straight.
overlap the other?
So these will be the first pieces that I put into here because they're the ones that are the most important. And then every consecutive layer that I do will go on top of these. So they can overlap that and be kind of like messy looking for what it matters compared to what this is. They'll
because that's the
overlap
visual
that.
layer. Yeah.
This visual layer, I want it to be super precise. So that's kind of what it takes to do something like this, where you're like, okay, I'm conscious of, I want directions to be the same way the whole way through. You know, this line right here on this particular piece, that's the leading edge of one of these air scoops inside there. So I want that to be very, very clean. So when we go and do our final trim, it's as close to where it needs to be as possible. So that's what I'm doing right now. Once I get my prep done, then we're gonna start doing all the rest of it. We'll cut all of our major pieces, get them all set. We'll get all of our layup all set up, and then I'll kind of stack them up in like the order of operations, just so that it makes sense. When I start doing the resin, it's not a huge panic session. And yeah, today's the day. We're gonna see these vents finally in carbon, and I'm so stoked because this was a really fun little project. Like you know, starting on the sketchbook, drawing up a little idea, and then hand shaping all this foam. You know, I got Brett to use his skill set to smooth this out really nice and prep it for me. And yeah, now I should be able to do a carbon layup on this, vacuum bag it. It should be just absolutely
delicious.
It should be delicious. Yes.
It'll look so good.
So today's the day. Let's get it done. Sweet. I'll do a little bit of like a time lapse, so you guys can all sort of follow along and see, you know, the process of what it takes to do this, and then we'll come back at the end and take a look.
Awesome.
did an initial trim just to get the outside perimeter cut.
Yeah.
And pop that one in there. That one looks pretty good. We're gonna dial it in just a little tiny bit more. This is just a pretty rough fitment right now. But this is what we're going for.
Ooh, that looks just amazing. Oh my gosh. It just adds so much to the whole thing. Let me actually come from this side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That looks amazing.
I'm pretty stoked on that. The general consensus in the shop is it's pretty sick. So
yeah, it's awesome.
I'm pretty happy with that. That just brings this to life.
Oh,
I love it when things make sense.
Yeah.
And so there's a point behind all of this. It is function and beauty at the same time. I don't know. I love it, man.
it's so sick.
We have to do a little tiny bit of post mold, work to sort of fix some of the little defects that showed up.
Yeah.
But all in all, I'd say for almost one of our first runs, that's a pretty good piece.
So awesome.
And it's perfect for this car. So I'm
Yeah.
man, once all those are opened up, all that air passage will be opened up and making sense.
More downforce.
Downforce, less drag, more downforce.
Oh yeah.
Equals the big W.
So another interesting thing about this is not that it looks just sick, but first of all, it's so light, like it feels like a piece of paper. And it's not just light, like it's also kind of strong.
Yeah.
Like you were showing some of the flexibility, like you had.
Like that's
look.
rigid.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Insane.
trying.
It's so it weighs like a few ounces.
Yeah. That's. We got 2 layers of the 3K 2x2 twill in the main venting areas here.
Yeah.
But the whole flange and this little section here is 4 layers. So
okay.
it's
strong.
Still really thin, very lightweight, but because of the shape, doesn't really need a lot of layers of buildup. It doesn't need to be excessive.
No.
That shape contributes to massive amounts of strength. And for what this is, that's perfect.
Oh yeah. Sick.
All right. Okay, so at this point in the video, you've kind of seen how we started with what was. We started with a rendering, we made molds, we pulled some carbon pieces off of them, and that's kind of where we left off, sort of just fitting them, roughly doing the rough fitment to the car. Now, I got Brett and Spencer doing the final finish on them, so you can't see that yet. You'll see that soon, but we're gonna do a painted edge, color match to the car, a nice little black translucent to just kind of give that little extra special touch, and that's how we do it. So you want to stay tuned on this car because I have a few more really cool carbon ideas that I wanna explore.
Carbon fiber.
We're gonna be doing carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a carbon fiber ducting, all the radiator ducting for the center mount. We're gonna be doing all that, and we're gonna kind of approach that in the same way that we did the fender vents. Also, I'm gonna sprinkle a little carbon into the rear wing.
Ooh, okay.
If any of you guys have been following along, you kind of seen the process of how we did the wing. It's unfinished yet, so I'm gonna make some carbon ducting inlets for that. Same sort of program. We're gonna carve it. We're gonna, finish it. We're gonna pull the carbon pieces. So the slant nose is this close to being done, and very soon it's gonna be out on the streets prowling.
Yep, like and subscribe, all of that good stuff to our YouTube channel, Instagram accounts, all of that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Pay attention. more things cool to come.
Awesome. Okay, bye.